All right, Google shares up nearly 3,000% since debuting in 2004 with Larry Page and Sergey Brin at the helm. But with the co-founders stepping aside, Wall Street will be watching closely the performance of Sundar Pichai. Joining us now, Derek Thompson, staff writer at The Atlantic, Joanne Lipman, a distinguished journalism fellow at the Institute for Advanced Study and a CNBC contributor. What should we, if we were going to buy the stock, what should we be concerned with? The way they deal with the government and regulators and privacy, or the way that they refine their algorithms, which they've always been great at? Joanne.
Okay, so this is a company that is under siege internally and externally, right? So we know that there are dozens and dozens of investigations, both here in the U.S. and abroad, into issues like antitrust, but also into potential labor violations and how they've handled sexual harassment cases there. The board is now looking at how they've been handling sexual harassment cases. I actually think that the issue that we maybe need to pay a little bit more attention to is internally just how you've had these, your two founders have essentially been absentee for about the past year or so, and when you don't have your leadership on, right on the premises there, when their leadership is absentee, your culture can really go off the rails. And I think that's a lot of what we've seen. We see a lot of anger there among the employees over a whole variety of issues.
To me, it looks more like the woke culture moving into Silicon Valley. I mean, so Alphabet, their culture has deteriorated at the same time Facebook has deteriorated at the same time. You don't think it's just the woke millennials looking and seeing these profitable companies and monopolistic almost?
I think that's a fantastic point, Joe. But here's the thing.
So everybody went bad. All the rotten apples rose to the surface right at the bad time.
Well, actually, look, here's the difference. So I happened to be giving a Google talk at Google in Mountain View last year, November 1, the day of the walkout, the 20,000 employees walked out after Andy Rubin was given a $90 million settlement to go away and essentially cover up these sexual harassment allegations. And at that time, so I was there in this mass of thousands of employees, and the feeling, it was almost like a college campus where it was sort of disillusionment and disappointment, but it wasn't like activist anger, hatred. It was more like the institution you love, you're disappointed with. But in the years since then, what you've seen is the feeling that some of these people feel they've been retaliated against.
That's different. I mean, let me ask Derek.
But it's led to activism.
Okay, but it's also if they have any dealings with ICE, or if they don't, if their climate change policies aren't in line, they're going to have demonstrations. So some of it is purely the woke subculture, isn't it, Derek? Or are these all, because these two guys weren't around, suddenly the company went south in terms of its culture?
Yeah, speaking as the woke millennial here, let me offer both a cultural explanation and a financial explanation. So culturally, Sergey and Larry, they're nowhere to be seen. I mean, they're not speaking publicly. They're not speaking at I.O. conferences. They're not speaking on investor calls. So they're functionally not leading the company. I see this as Sundar not necessarily being promoted as being recognized. I mean, look at the numbers. Look at the reports, the quarterly earnings reports. Alphabet was created to create a conglomerate that would help identify and clarify Google's core business versus all of these other bets that they were involved in, sort of to recognize them as an old-fashioned conglomerate. But look at the latest report. 82% of their business is still in search advertising. 17.5% of their business is in Google-related products, Google subsidiaries like YouTube or Google Cloud, which is growing really, really fast. 0.3% of their business are in the so-called other bets, 0.3. So Sundar Pichai is already the CEO of 99.7% of Alphabet. This is simply recognizing, look, you're already the leader of this company. You should be the leader of its culture. Here you are being recognized for it through this promotion.
So does anything change? I mean, it kind of feels like this is a nothing burger. We have two people who weren't showing up, and they owned the company, and now they still own the company, and they're still not showing up.
Nothing impossible beyond meat burger, or a woke burger?
It's Google, so it's definitely no meat.
Oh, it's no meat. Okay, so that type of nothing burger.
But now what you do have is for Sundar is that all of these issues are squarely in his lap, right? So now he has the regulatory issues to deal with. I mean, I think it'll be very interesting to see if he does deal any differently at all with, you've got your congressional investigations, your statewide investigations, and then your internal issues.
This is a real test for this dual class structure. That's where I'm coming from. Well, now you have two people who control the company who are even less involved.
It's the introduction of corporate governance, and that did not exist prior to this.
It's baby steps. Corporate governance means you have an independent board, that your shareholders, one vote, one share, one vote. That's not this.
So as a trader.
Yes, sir.
What would dictate whether you decide to buy this or sell this?
I would buy this. In 2020, I would buy this.
Does it have anything to do with all of these machinations?
Clarity and leadership. I do think this is a corporate governance move, so I disagree with Tom. I like the representation they'll have in D.C., and I like the buyback plan.
All right, and you're not worried about regulation, privacy, the big target.
He'll navigate his way through it.